back. So we're going to do a really quick one. We're just going to talk about the shops in general, and we're going to be talking about the not undo system today, but the refresh shop windows and stuff like that. This is the normal section, and this is the recommended section, obviously. Normal section. When you refresh, you destroy every child, and then we're recreating it. No different, we're just recreating it, then destroying it. Recommended, we're doing the same thing. We're destroying every child in parent 2. This will destroy every child, it's really nice. And then we're saying the 0 panels, and then we're going parents is equal to a new transform, a new array, and we're saying, well, the length of this new array will be recommended length. So how many? So if we have 8 recommended sets, then there'll be 8 parents. And then for each one, then we're going to say we're going to get a new panel, get next panel is called, which is all the way down here, and it requires us to give us a panel text, and it creates a new object off the prefab panel, sets the object, sets the name to be equal to panel plus the panel count, obviously, plus is the panel count, and then we say the text is equal to the text you perform it. And then we return it, because this is actually not a void, this is a public transform. So not only are we creating an object, we're also returning the transform of the object so we can manipulate that. It's a really kind of cool mechanic I really like. So here we're not only are we creating it, we're also saying parents I is equal to it. It's a really nice idea, and I'm going to use it a lot, because I was like, well, what do I do here? Do I just do it and then try to look for it? What do I do? And I was like, why don't I just do the obvious thing and do that? It's not obvious, but yeah, it's something. And then we're going again for recommended length, which we kind of don't need to go through. I do this a lot where I kind of go again. So I mean, that's kind of a waste, and it's optimization waste. I just do this a lot just because I kind of build code over time instead of just chunking out like 8 hours of this. So what we're doing is we're gonna get, sorry, oh man, my stomach's been bad today. We're going to get the recommended, and we're going to go through each of the set items in each recommended set, so each of the items in each set, and then we're going to build it. And we're going to say the parent is equal to I, obviously, and that's pretty simple. I'm curious to do parent.length, but since parents and recommended should be the same length, it doesn't really matter. See, that's really useful. And then we're going to refresh the next window, which is essentially that little I can call it preview because I think that's the wrong thing to say, but I'm going to call it like the build into window. How about we? So this little window here that pops up, and sorry, there we go. And what we do is we ask for an ID whenever you do that, and so whenever you essentially left click on an item, it tracks that you've left clicked it, and we will have a look through our item list, shop here. Obviously, as this is grid layout, don't know if you've done this. I'll just go for this a bit later when I do my phone, how to set it up and stuff. And so actually this does have click detector. I forgot about that. I didn't realize it had click detector. That's very important. So detects clicks. Click detector is very important on UI elements. It's a really nice click detector. I built it myself. Essentially what it does is it detects whether or not your mouse is over the object, and then if you click, then it can detect not only left, right, because to detect middle, and then it will call this method on the item. So obviously on middle click does nothing, but it would do select by item is the big one. So you do need to give an event system for it to happen, and this mouse copy is just because obviously under click detector we do have this like mouse enter get set, so we can just, it's just for debug purposes, and obviously you don't need it, but it's kind of nice to have sometimes, so you can go, oh, is my mouse actually entering this item? As you can see, it is, and that's quite nice. So we clicked it, we actually select the item, which is actually a script under here. If we right click, we buy it, and obviously if we open up this, which is actually right here, we can see that it stores the current item it's on, which is obviously wherever, the sprite holder, which stores all the image sprites. So as you see here, there's quite a few. As you see, there's actually one, there's none here, but there's one here, and I don't know why I store one. Oh no, it's actually a single image. It used to be a array, but I made two only singles, so this name doesn't make sense. It should probably just be like sprite, but it doesn't matter. Private database, just a way so we can store it. This is a good way because what this means, this is still a singleton reference, but what we can actually do is we can later replace this with a lookup if we want to. So, and it also means that we're only using the singleton once, and we've got our own little reference. So this is a good habit. You should probably be using this. But obviously replace this with actually a lookup, like a GameObject.lookup.get component kind of thing. Text, which is what to display, which is like just price, and the shop item, which is the name. Sorry. And then we do the setup whenever we start, and basically we say, hey, if this object isn't active in hierarchy, then we set to active. And then we turn the sprite, we say the sprite is equal to our component in children. The name is obviously equal to the current item.imid. The text is obviously obvious. And the item ID, by the way, is not actually the item ID, I believe. I can't remember. It's actually the item ID. Maybe the item slot ID. And then if the texture equals null, then we're turning off the objects. Elsewhere, we're turning off the. By the way, we're just turning off the text, and we're turning off the sprite itself. This is unique to this. In the item stats, we actually don't turn off the text. We just turn to white. But since we don't really care about, we turn to clear. But since we don't really care about storing stuff like certain stuff, that's different. Here, if it's not null, then we turn to true. We say the sprite is equal to the current texture. The text true, and the text is equal to find a price. The buy item is simple. We just say, hey, shop, buy this item. And true is to say whether or not we're actually going to do an undo for it. So we're going to allow you to undo the purchase. And select says, hey, we're going to refresh the next window with the ID of this current item. Then we're going to destroy H1 in the next transform. And if it builds, then we're going to basically go for each building. We're going to instantiate. We're going to set the parent. And all that stuff. So we could probably actually, we should probably do, I think we should actually probably do it under the get build item in shop, because that's basically the exact same thing, but somehow I didn't do it. But I did here, who cares? It doesn't really matter that we did it that way. There's probably some reason. I'll probably just copy it over. Now, we are at 7 minutes. Oh, good. We've been going a bit faster. Buy item. When you buy an item, we require not only an item name, we also require whether or not we're going to add a set. I really don't want to talk about undo sets because they're a bit confusing, so I'm actually probably going to skip that. Just not for the too long. But update database, this is used whenever we're updating. And we're going to create for each item, we're saying you're not bought anymore, and your final price is equal to your recipe price. Remember, we're not touching full price here, only final. And then we're going through, if the item is built into something, then obviously we're going to do that whole build into thing, which is, I think, junk. Oh, no, this is actually useful because we use the build into names. Yeah, that's probably why we're doing the build into up here. Yeah, because we use build into names because of some reason. Because build into actually, you just want to set the list, because you can't actually really input stuff into it. Obviously, it's a bit buggy sometimes, I think. There's some reason I did it that way. Just going through your items and saying you bought them. So we're going through each of the items and we're saying, hey, the item is bought. If we contain a key, then we're saying it is bought. Now, the reason that's a bit weird is because not only are we going for each item and we're buying it, we're also going for our own item database and buying it. The reason we're doing that is because whenever we buy an item, we actually create a new instance of that item. So it's separate from our shop. So if you create a new item and it's like a stackable, then when you create another, if you buy another one of the stackables, the stacks won't stay consistent. Which also means that the effects will apply twice, because you bought a second item. So this way we're just saying, hey shop, this item has been bought. And then we're doing the final price thing, which is just simply if the item is builds into something, and if the item is not bought, then the final price is plus. Else, if it is bought, then we're not going to plus the final price, because we've already done that. Sell item, we've done this already. Build item shop, we've done that. If you have previous items, it's only for the undo system. Please tell me it's only for the undo, or do I need to cover this? I'm pretty sure it's something for undo. Or is it this? Yeah, no, it's for the undo system binding thing. That's confusing. I won't cover that till later. Because that was like an app. This is like the big chunk code. I mean, there's always going to be a big chunk code, but this is it. This is the meat. That probably everyone's like, oh, I really want to see this. Oh, damn it. Damn it. I'm going to like cover all to make it look cool. Yeah, that's the meat. It's like 100 or whatever. No, it's not. It's like 50. But still, 100 lines. Yeah, it's 50 lines. Let's undo. Yeah, so these things are essentially the default. So these are we create. I'll go over them later. I'm text. I'll go over later. Oh, here we go. We talked about this before. If the event system is equal to null, then we're going to find one by saying this. So make sure your event system is called event system. If the mouse has entered this object, which we detect, which actually has to be done, by the way, on the object itself, as you see. When we go here, we've got a little event trigger here, and we say, hey, if the mouse has enter, not only are we going to do tooltip, we're just going to say it's entered, and it's exit, we're going to off tooltip, and we're going to say it's unentered. And if we click, obviously, then we're going to send a message with the method name, and we don't require receiver, and then the same over here. Maybe you could require receiver if you want to do a certain thing, like debug it or whatever, but that's not required now. This tooltip system is really easy. We have the tooltip object. We have a integer to say whether or not it's shop, whether or not it's a shop item, whether or not it's actually an inventory item, whether or not it's ability, or whether or not it's a shop item copy. This is not very useful if you're not using my inventory manager, but it's still going to be quite useful. Ask, which is literally just to say, I can't transform position. It shouldn't be public, or doesn't need to be. S data, which is the shop data, the item data, and ability data, because obviously we only want one of them to be populated, the other won't, which is why we're using this. And the so when we start, we're going to switch them, and if you're a shop item, then we're going to say S data is equal to sign, and then we're going to tell tooltip, we're going to say, hey, your tooltip is going to be shop, the shop tooltip, because we have two tooltips, just so minimap doesn't mark up. Yeah, I know we're doing so much work for minimap, but it's like the only workaround, otherwise things will bug out. Sometimes this is a bit buggy, yeah, because I'm locked up. Okay, then we have iData, which is just for inventory. I see tooltip abilities. These are not just abilities, also items. I don't know I call them abilities, but I did. And the same for abilities, obviously. And obviously, the only difference is if you're using a shop item, you are actually using you're actually kind of a mixture. You're not only using item data, you're also using the tooltip of shop, because it's actually in the shop window, but it has an item data script, because I did it that way, which probably wasn't the smartest. Should have done the shop data, but it's just fine. Actually, it's smart because of how shop data works. Is that little buying thing where copies aren't like the actual inventory. Shop item ability is just equal to 1. So we're saying after we did this, we're saying now from now on you're actually classified as an item data, right? Because we're already breaking, so we're not going to do this, and that's only so when we start we're going to off tooltip it, so it's tooltip is deactivated. But whenever a mouse goes over it, we're going to do the tooltip, which is essentially just saying the position of the tooltip is equal to us. Plus a little bit more. Let's push it across a bit. And then we're going to set the tooltip to active. And then depending on what one we have, will depend on what we set the tooltip to equal. And then we're going to say, hey, if the tooltip is not equal to nothing, then off the tooltip. But it basically means if our item has 0 text, then just turn off the tooltip. So, a nice little thing there. And then start display, which we won't cover now. I think that's basic. I know this episode was like, wait, what? You did barely cover anything. I actually do have dinner right now. I'm trying to click this. Why is it not allowing me? Okay, it's just this thing is this taking priority over everything. 14 minutes. I think I should do a bit more, but I don't really, because I have dinners right now. I mean, I don't really want to cover biome till next time, but hey, we'll cover undo system, since it's not too bad. So undo system, we go through all our undo sets. We've already covered them, maybe. Is it undo link, by the way, is actually it's something I don't like using, but I have to in this case. essentially. Undo link is a way for us to access. What is it? What are we accessing? Copy is it to shop data? Yeah, it allows us so when we the problem is undo is a wait. Why do we actually need this? I don't know why we have undo link. Can't we just access the shop directly, then go undo? But apparently we can't. Okay, well, I trust my judgment. I must have done something. I'm pretty sure you should just be able to just shop, do this. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know. I don't know. Do I actually need this, or do I just go shop? I don't care. But regardless, it's the same way as just saying, hey, we're just going to undo this shop. Don't know why I have that, but that's fine. Anyway, we'll cover undo. I think we covered undo. Yeah, I did last episode. So since you have a choice, whether or not you bought an item or sold an item, the item that you sold or bought, the prior items, if that's only useful if you're upgrading an item. And then essentially under undo, it's quite simple. And your undo is very, very simple. We say, hey, we're going to insert a new item, and we're going to give you an index and an item. So we're going to give you what index the item was at, which I know we're saying 0. Why do we actually care about the index? Oh yeah, we do. So when we insert something, what it asks for is it actually asks for us to. So it's going, well, whenever we create a new undo, we always want that new undo to be at the very beginning instead of at the very end. So insert allows us to insert anywhere along the list, and we're always inserting at the first slot or 0. Undo set requires us to have an option, requires us to have an item, requires us to have previous items. This is just a simplistic way, and maybe we want cases later on, whatever, but simplistic way, same as add shop item. Same category. Essentially, we're saying, hey, if you're undoing, we go first check if we actually have undos. If we don't, then just don't do it. If we do, then check if you bought it or if you sold it. So if the first one that you just did, that you like the first on the list, if you just bought it, then we're just going to grab a copy of that. Then we're going to destroy the item. We're going to give you back your gold, and then we're going to go through the sets of the prior item, and we're going to, for each of those prior items, we're going to buy it. We've just given you back the full price, so buying it shouldn't make any difference. And then what's happening is then now you should get like the off buy item, and then we're going to remove the item from undo sets, and then we're going to update the database, and then we're going to break. If you just sold the item, then as long as you have enough gold, then you're going to add a new item, and this is kind of the big thing, which is essentially what we're doing, is we're creating a whole new instance of the item name. This allows us to create a whole new instance of a script without having to do a big case statement and go, hey, if your item is this, because as you know, we can't just go, hey, can you, as you know, we can go, well, it's just shop data. You can't go, oh, well, new shop data. You can't do that. Can't go new shop. Well, we could, but we can't go new player stats, or, there's no way for us to find a script through text. However, this is a way you can find it. Your system.activator.create instance should create a whole new instance of a type, and we're getting a type as our script, and then we're going to convert it to an item, and then we're going to add it. Very simple way, but that way it means you can have multiple items and it won't kind of hold across the values across all. Then we're going to increment your gold by minus your gold, and then we're going to move the undo set. Then we're going to update the database. Super simple. As see, when we buy an item, as see, we're actually not buying the item, we're actually adding the item. There's no particular reason why I'm just adding the item, so buying it. But there's a reason I'm doing this, because when I add because I've just sold it and I want to buy it, I don't want to kind of sell again by pressing undo. But seems that you can do that anyway, so I don't know why. But buy an item, right, and I just sell it. If I undo, I don't want to be able to undo it again, but apparently I can. But that's weird. That's kind of why I did it, but it's probably a reason why that happens. It's probably just inventory managers when we're adding an item. It's probably their fault, but that's fine. Yeah, that's it. And undo. That's it for this episode. We'll be covering a little bit more on the buy item next episode, and we'll be covering things like default, which I guess we can quickly cover. Default is a way so each character will have their own script, and each character will have their own shop sets, which is essentially a variable that you can set yourself in the thing, which essentially will have its own like recommended sets, as you can see here. And we're gonna have and we're gonna say, hey, well, shop sets is this and this and this. This should be start, by the way. You'd want to make sure it's start, so the items are all added. Actually, it doesn't matter if they're awake or not because we're already adding the items here. So essentially, each character can have their own set of items. So character X, you may want to have all items but one because that item is a special item only for character Y. So you could do that. But yeah, there's gonna be a default. You probably want this to be start though. And then it's pretty simple. And then we go, well, we're gonna access. And essentially this is just so quickly just to say, hey, well, shop set 0 is equal to starting, and this, then we go, hey, your recommended is equal to shop sets. That's pretty important there. Make sure you don't have multiple leads running, because multiple leads will have errors. So when you're doing stuff like this, there may be a slight problem because you may go, hey, this is not right, because how will I have each character? Well, obviously you probably have a prefab for each character, and then you just instantiate those prefabs. Easy. Anyway, see you guys next time. So this was a bit more rushed, so maybe this is a bit off. But hopefully this was enough. These series, I can't cover them quickly, but there's a lot to cover and stuff, and I probably covered way too much. But anyway, see you guys next time.